wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna sacred ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milan. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Well, yes, hello, my friends, and welcome to the WolfMan's Call. It is Tuesday, July 18th. I hope you're fired up. I hope you're ready. We're just kicking all the doldrums out of here, man. We're doing it the right way, and that is what? By bringing football to you, by bringing some Mountaineers to you, and today's just another day. Are you ready, Mountaineers? From the head up. Physically, right? Are you ready for this? I sure hope so. I think you are. And again, Happy Valley, it's the third largest, hardest place to play in this year, apparently, to CFP's 10 toughest opponents. I know that it's the hardest one that I've ever played at. And to be quite honest with you, it is most difficult. And let's go ahead and we'll talk with that. But the big lineup today is what I call a Titan Tuesday, and I can only be excited. And that, of course, we're going to start off with this, the WolfMan's Call Network. And we're going to go from Bridgeport, and that is the Brickside Bar and Grill with Rob Davis. Eat local. This is the WolfMan's Call Network. You can come to these fine establishments, 4 o'clock, and you may watch this. So down there in Bridgeport, moving on up to Fairmont, we have the Mason Jar BBQ and More. Unbutton those britches. Because I'll tell you, when you go there with Steve Reese, man, it is all good eating. And then you keep moving up. Morgantown, we got Lakeviews, Legends Sports Bar and Grill, Aaron Gizzy, and Des out there. Make sure you tip your servers. And of course, in Morgantown, we got the Mountaineer Tap House with Melissa. Mel, I hope you got that closed caption working. All good. And Steve Reese, once again, Mason Jar Saloon and Hotspot there in Morgantown. Move on down. Teays Valley, and you're going to get the Pallet Bar. You got Aubrey, you got Haley, you got all the good people down there, 24 different craft beers, and to Route 22 in Weirton, West Virginia, and with Rich and all the good people up there, you have 12 50-inch TVs just to watch the WolfMan's Call. All right, everybody. Again, happy Tuesday to you. Let's get this started. Let's get it going. The first one I want to introduce is number 33. And number one in your hearts. I know he thinks that because he's got his guns all ready to roll up. And Eugene Napoleon is ready to go. Gene, how you doing, man?
And I'm blessed, brother. How are you?
Oh, I am so blessed. So blessed that you're here. Blessed and ready to go. I don't have the rock for you because usually I'd be blocking for you. You know what I mean? So I can't give you the pill. And of course, we have another one. Well, it's also
a blocker and kind of a running back. He's a fullback, which we just don't know if they're in existence anymore. There still might be a few dinosaurs left, and that is Chris Peccon. Peak, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Wolf. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. And we're waiting for Freddie Boom Boom Smalls to jump on. He thought it was going to be at 7 o'clock. The WolfMan's call has never, ever been on at 7 o'clock. So no matter what the Boom Boom said, which there he is. I can see him there. We got Boom Boom. Hey, Boom Boom, what's up?
Hey, Boom.
If y'all let me apologize, hold on.
You're all good, man. The kid can't hear us.
How do I get the volume up on this thing?
Yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and we'll let you figure that out, Boom. And we're going to go back and get started here. All right, James, so how have you been doing, man? Your show, got a show, you got your wife and all that business. What have you been up to, man?
Man, listen, I can't call it. I got a best-selling book out that I'm highly blessed to have out. It's called Reflections 2.0. It's a motivational quotes book. Came in at number 6 on the Barnes & Noble's top 100 list a few weeks ago. So really, really excited about that. And of course, like you mentioned, my wife, she has her new single, Give Us Free, that just hit number 1 in the top 40. So that's her 18th number 1 single, man. So we're blessed and highly favored, Wolf. And look, if I complain, God need to slap me 3 times.
Okay, well, if you complain, I'm going to slap Peccon. All right. So, Pig, how are you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. Do I have time to get a muscle shirt on?
No. Let's see. We'll check in here and see if
I don't have like Eugene.
Hey, Boom, what's up? You back in or what? Boom, are you in the room? I don't think he's in the room. All right. So, anyways, we got to talk about this. I want to bring you on. Yesterday, I brought Frank Fear on, the author that we have on every week. What a great historian, so knowledgeable and all that. And I like to bring on a Mountaineer Nation, a good fan that's fairly knowledgeable, like Keith Hawkins, Hawkeye. And of course, we had Daryl Prue basketball on because he had his things going on. He was there for the Brian Jones tournament, and he also was there for the Best Virginia. He was coaching the team on Saturday night. But I wanted to go ahead and kind of go through the same thing with you guys. I heard from them in Mountaineer Nation. Now I do have some Mountaineer football players, former football players, but guys that have real opinions, that understand what the legacy is that we have here. And, you know, with that,
Now what?
what's that? You good, Freddie?
I'm back.
Oh,
It's the internet in my house. That's what's causing the issues on everything, y'all. Sorry about that.
Ready?
Is in it?
That's all right, Boom. We're glad you're here. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm still recovering from you dudes, man.
Well, we got Boom in the upper room, and so glad. If you ever see him going live, he's going to tell you what's right, what's wrong, and he's got to keep you straight because I watch you quite often there, Boom. So good to see you, brother. Let's get it going here, and let's talk about what we have here for Join the Discussion. And this is my Join the Discussion, and I know you're going to have a lot of things to say here, but this is the one I really want to talk about, and that is the media poll. And now we all know the media poll. Don't jump on me before I finish. We all understand that the media poll is not a poll. It's not the coaches poll. I do believe the media poll looks at and it listens to coaches and it takes everything that they have. Well, we got to talk about it, man. This is it. The media poll. Last year they had West Virginia number 8. And they finished 6th, and this year they have them at number 14. I'm going to start off with you, James, since you're up at the top. You know, talk about this. What are you thinking about this? When has West Virginia ever been last in a poll?
Well, to be quite frank, it's disappointing to see WVU to be last in anything, especially where we are now as a program. Over the last few years, I've been watching, and obviously all of us who've played and put on that great uniform, played for the great state of West Virginia and you know, our university, you're disappointed to see where we are in this media poll. I don't care what poll it is. When you're at the bottom of anybody's poll, there's a problem. There in itself lies a problem. We have to correct that. And the only way you can correct that, you got to win football games.
That's beautiful how you say it, Pick. I'm going to give you a shot at this. You're a Uniontown guy up there. Your years you played here. What'd you do? Graduate 85? 86.
But my last season was 1986.
Okay. And
Your freshman year, if you remember, I was your host.
yeah, I remember. Well, if you remember, I think I put you to sleep. Regardless, I think you're Uniontown. I know, Boom. You're a Uniontown man, and you've been around WVU football a long time. I'd say I can't remember anything like this in the 50, 60, 70 years. I don't know.
I live so close to Morgantown, about 23 miles, but where I live in Pennsylvania, we get more Pitt and Penn State news because Western Pennsylvania Pittsburgh stations don't cover the Mountaineers as much. But the thing that I'm wondering about the Mountaineers is with the NIL and all these guys transferring, what does the rest of the country think about us? And I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I mean,
we haven't heard. I mean, did you hear about Herb Street laughing and with McAfee and saying
yeah, but I'm
they
saying
won't put a house for 6 games? Remember that?
I remember.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what they're saying. They're 14th. We got another Big 12 coach saying that we look like a MAC team in size and stature. We don't play hard.
Wow. Can I ask you, does anybody know what type of intensity we practice and we play? I mean, it's really hard to tell when you're you're watching on TV or you're watching in the stadium. What type of intensity in the program? That's what I wonder about. And we all know Coach Nealon would bring out the best in you, find a way to kind of poke each one of us for us to play the best we can play. And that's the one thing I wonder about. And that brings me to why are we not winning? And that's the question that I want to ask you guys, because I don't.
Well, it's my show, so you're not going to ask anyone unless I tell you it's okay.
Okay. Believe me, I'm not going to ask you. I can't go to whoever.
All right, so boom, what's your viewpoint on this? Media polls, all the crap being talked on our team here. Not saying that it hasn't deserved. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm asking you, Freddie Boom Boom Smalls, what do you say?
It goes along with everything else in society, man. If you look at everything in society, it's watered down. So much is watered down. If anybody really understand what I'm trying to say, it's watered down. Our characters was much more as a blue collar type guy. Kick butt. Go after it, get after it. And we didn't get away with much. Chris, I don't know. You remember what I just told Coach Nealon, how he treated us at the Gator Bowl? You were there, you and Joe's.
I was there.
And he looked and started laughing. And I was real. I said, Coach, we lost that Gator Bowl because you kicked our butts too much.
I think
he looked up and said, yes, you did, Coach. I said, you had us out there for 2 days, Coach. We're smashing the 85 to 95-degree weather. And by the time the game time come, we were definitely just beat down. But I was able to tell Coach things like that because it went back to what Chris said. We're in a society now that it's hard to really push these kids to a level now. I mean, I know that they got certain times, certain numbers of practices, certain way you can talk to a player, certain way to handle certain people. It's just different. We're just hard-nosed guys, and we keep forgetting about that we were straight up in our face, and we handle each other, and we kicked each other's butt. We made each other's better. We challenged each other. This society is different, Wolf. I mean, I was down there. I learned a lot being with you guys this weekend by observing and watching and seeing the realness of our generation into the generation behind us. They thought we were crazy the way we act. They thought we were wild. They thought we were just some tough-nosed cats looking at it. They're crazy. But to me, I think it's dealing with so much society right now. So I think these coaches are afraid to go all out with some of these players. I really do. I just think the coaches are afraid to go all out.
You know, Gene, that's a good point. And my feelings are this. I believe a player's relationship to a coach is still what it's about. I believe a coach can still push, and this is in regards to you, Boom, if that player trusts that coach, if that player feels like that coach has got his back and is looking out for him to advance to, we know, the next level or whatever it is to get the education. But something there is that if you can go ahead and get that relationship with your coach, I believe that a player can be pushed even in today's society.
I totally, Wolf, I am 100% concur with you. The only reason why I'm saying that, Eugene, and you can help me in this area, Chris, I have boys, y'all. I'm dealing with a situation right now with Gabby coming in from Puerto Rico and all these other coaches trying to jump on Gabby to come out and do. I'm dealing with my sons at these other schools, and the way we handle our kids, it's totally different. I'm tough nosed with my kids. I tell those coaches, kick their butts. I don't care. Are you sure, Mr. Smalls? I say, yeah, I don't give a darn. Get up on them. Get the best out of them. I just want to make sure. It's like so many, and it's not starting from college. It's not coming from college. It's before they get to college.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No,
and a lot of these and I think these kids want to do good. I agree, but I just think the way that we have watered down society when it comes to boys to men, it's just a total different reaction right now, and I see it with my 3 boys.
Hey, I have a question.
Hang on, Pig. I told you no questions yet. Okay, but I wanted Gene to get in on that and to finish that. So, again, now he's got boys to men reference there. I'm talking about, he got all your gold records behind you there, your wife. So, regardless, Gene, what's your take on that? Boom, because Boom's right. He's got so much right off the bat, and I see him all over on his social media. He's taking his boys here to Marshall. He's taking his boys here to this school, up to that school, and he's seeing it. But Boom's military, but you ain't gonna mess around with Boom now.
Absolutely. I think
too.
He's 100% correct. I mean, the bottom line is, if you're not training the kid to be successful, it's mind, body, and soul, and that starts at home. That starts at home. My son now, Brandon, is a defensive back coach at the University of Rhode Island. He takes everything he's learned from here and all through his whole coaching career and playing career. He's a tough nose.
Absolutely.
It starts at the house. My wife's a basketball coach at the collegiate level. So we didn't play with him when it came down to working hard, being diligent, being disciplined, being focused, handling your business hard. So if that's not instilled in you at the house, you go to a high school and that's not instilled, that can't be instilled when you get to college. It has to come from the home. So bottom line, I think until we get back to working your butt off and being accountable for you being in shape, you being disciplined, you getting to class on time, you doing the little things, because the little things will equal big things. If you can't handle the little things, this game ain't for you. Now, I'm a hard-nosed guy as well. Like Boom said, we all know what that's all about. We all played for the great Don Nealon. He didn't take any of that nonsense. You came to be a student athlete at WVU, you went to class, you worked your tail off, and you performed for our great fans, period. There was no, you're going to go showcase your abilities without doing it for the team. That's what it was all about.
Right.
These young people don't understand that.
I agree.
All
right, Peccon, I'm going to let you go back to your question.
I wanted to ask a question, but Fred and I were with Coach Nealon, and Joe Zwiak was there, Brian, Joe Zwiak, and Aaron Beasley. And I asked Coach, because they were all talking, how do you make the team today? How do you move up on the depth chart?
Right. I remember you asked that question, yeah.
If you can't hit in practice, and we used to watch film of us hitting, and you would get called out in that film on the Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's what I want to ask you guys. I don't know how you make the team if you can't hit in practice.
Well, Coach couldn't answer the question. When you asked him the question,
he couldn't answer it.
When you asked him that question, he couldn't answer the question. Well, it's a hard question.
It's a very
Go ahead,
difficult
Wolf.
question, but I'll answer it if you want, because I do know.
Okay.
And what they base it on.
Okay.
Well, maybe I don't know how you do it. I'm going to tell you how they do it in the system. And in that system, how they do it is they go ahead and they have scrimmages, and they go ahead and do you know your place? Number one, do you know your place? So there it is. Number two is how's your technique? This is how you got to do it, because you can't, you go and scrimmage. Even in the spring game, you saw that it was laissez-faire of what I saw. I saw laissez-faire, and meaning is that I didn't see. You saw the Penn State. Besides you, Boom, you were a little late, I think, but you saw the Penn State video. I show it every time I go on the show because that's something they have to get ready for. That is something they have to get ready for because that is the hardest. All of you know how hard it is to play at Happy Valley. These young guys, these coaches don't know. These coaches don't know how difficult it is. And now you got a top 10, maybe top 5 team in Penn State, and you got 107,000 people in that stadium. And so, again, we're talking about you're finishing right now that they're saying last. We're going to hear from Neil Brown in a second, but that's what they're saying about you. And now you got this monumental task. I'm not sure if anybody at the spring game had that urgency out there and playing around. I could get into it, but I'm not. I'm gonna cap it off at that. But you had to have urgency. Every repetition counted. Every rep in the weight room counted. And every repetition up here this summer counted. I'm hearing from coaches right now that in the summertime with these new rules that these coaches are starting to script these summer practices.
What?
I just heard this yesterday, and I'm not going to tell you who it was or who the people were, but I'm hearing that they're starting to script these practices. They're supposed to be summer workouts, and it's all changing, man. All changing. Gene, have you heard anything like that?
I've heard that, and the sad part about that is, listen, you have to compete with whoever's on your schedule, correct? So everybody has the same, because I keep hearing the excuses from a few people about the transfer portal, this, that, and the third, NIL. Everybody has the same issues. This is big boy ball. Everybody has the same issues. So I'll say this, and then people will get offended, but with me, what you see is what you get. Okay. It comes down to whether or not we have everybody in place that can put our young people in place to develop the type of skill set that we need to compete at this level. That's what it comes down to, because everybody has the same exact deal. Penn State has the same deal. Pitt has the same deal. Every D1 program has the same exact issues to deal with. We're no different. So how is it they are getting the maximum out of their kids and we are not? You can't win 5 games and be satisfied with that. I'm not satisfied with 6 wins. I'm not satisfied with 7 wins because West Virginia is a top program. We always have been up until the last recent years. Give me 8 wins or better and I'm happy.
Well, I heard
Eugene, I was 7-3. I was 7-3, 7-3 my senior year after winning, coming off 3 bowls, and we didn't get accepted back then.
No.
After being in 3 bowls, 7-3 and 1, and we didn't get accepted.
Hey,
Wow.
Boom, let
So,
me ask you this. Yeah, okay, but G was just saying he expected more. Okay, Doug Flutie never beat you guys. Okay,
never.
Mountaineer teams that overachieved. How did you do it? He's 0-4. He was 0-4.
Well,
The Heisman.
Well, my thing, the thing that goes today is, when I was in the Army, I was an 04. I was a major, top officer. I just deal with the generals and the lieutenant colonels, and I keep the morale of the troops and the counseling. The one thing I learned is when we allow everybody else in our business, fans are deciding who plays now. There's so much people involved with our activity that we're afraid to harm or hurt anybody's feelings. We're afraid to do what we need to do to get the wins because we're afraid of being criticized, ostracized, not recognized. put down. Hey, if that's the way the media is going to go today, then guess what? That's the way we're going to take it away from them, because it's all about the Mountaineers on that field. I don't care what no fan says. It's all about us. It's all about us in them spring practice, in that weight room, in them classrooms, in those meetings. It always came down to us. Chris Peccon, you and I played almost all years together. How many games did we come back and won, Chris? Come on, Chris. How many games we're down? We're down. And how many games, because the way we were, we pulled out Penn State. We had to come back from Doug Flutie. We came back on Dan Marino. Come on, Chris. We pulled some games out because there's a reason behind it.
Coach Nealon set us up to do that. The way we practice with intensity, he graded. Remember, we would hit in practice, and he would be really. The coaches would critique us, and not just you, me, everybody had to live up to what they did in practice. So you had to be intense all week. There's a difference. I don't think it's the NBA's fault that they're not allowed to foul, and I don't think it's these kids that are playing today. It's not their fault that they can't practice, because NCAA mandates how many times you hit, and
you can still go. You can still go inside. You can still do inside and go for once a week. Okay, you can still do that in practice. You can still put good.
Wolf, I want to address one of my kids was I was at a practice right now. This is good stuff, right? This is good, and people gonna listen to this right here because this got a lot of intensity behind what we're talking about. I was at the practice one time with one of my sons, and Aaron Beasley trained this kid since he was little, and he would come up. They're running the ball, and I'm like, why are you not? I didn't say it till I said, how come you're not making the tackles on the curb? The coaches told me not to be aggressive. Just let it go.
Right.
What? I'm giving you something that I'm watching, and I got on him in the car. He's my son at East Stroudsburg State right now playing corner. He was told that not to go hard.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm just giving you something. That's where it's at. We're going back to the foundation. Everything has a foundation. It's not these kids' fault right now. This stuff is going on in these AAU games, going in these tournaments, going on these high schools, and these kids are coming into the place with these kind of attitudes. So it's hard to really get out what you want out of them because the coaches in high school couldn't get it out of them.
Yeah.
I watched that. I'm sitting here dealing with these boys, and I don't know, Wolf.
Yeah, I hear
in
you.
Texas,
but
I'm just saying, in Texas, there's still hard-nosed church boys going to school and football. There's still big, strong, cock diesel, cotton candy picking, running 4 threes. They're still in the foundation down there. And I bet that they're still getting a little bit more intensified in practice more than what we are.
Well,
that's just me.
No, that's for sure, Bob. And I love to preach it, but you got to believe that Saban, Smart, all those guys are basically the same way. But gee, let me ask you a question. With all the transfer portals that's happened in West Virginia, the reality of this situation, there are not a lot of juniors and seniors with a lot of years of Mountaineer experience. Okay, they just added 2 corners. One is Western Kentucky for 5 years. And then he went to Minnesota where he is part-time. And then we have this other corner from Kent State. Now, yes, they have experience, but they don't have experience. I could go ahead back and look at looking at the game last year. I saw these young guys that were maybe not so young, but they were G5 or FCS. And guess what? These receivers in the Big 12 blew by them. And they blew by them.
Right.
You got to know this.
Absolutely.
You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct, Wolf. I took a look at some of the games. And again, there's a reason why I'm very careful when I'm critiquing somebody's child, right? Yep. Because I know what I see. And I'll say this, I'll preface it this way. This is the reason why there's levels to everything, right? There's levels to everything. So if you think you're going to go in the portal and you're going to get a young person that played on a certain level and you're going to bring that young person up to this level and you're going to put him out there and he's not prepared, he's not developed, and you expect him to go and do that job, 9 times out of 10, he's not going to be successful. Okay, so whose fault is that? He didn't put himself on the field not prepared and not ready. So see, for me, it always starts to, like Boom said, there's a foundation to all of this. We either got to do one or two things. Either coach better or recruit better or a combination of both.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. Yeah, there's no. All right, Pig. So can you go ahead and pull out these guys that aren't had that 4 years? When I got developed, I saw my brother Ronnie. I saw Boom. I saw you. Okay, Gene. Hey, Gene, remember when Coach Nealon said we're lining up here in the 1 yard line? And by the way, defense, I want 13 guys over there because this is an offensive drill. And by the way, we're coming right over Wolf's butt. All right? Gene's running right over Wolf's butt.
Bang.
There's 13 defense. But hey, Wolf, you better get in there. Gene, you better score that touchdown. That's what we developed.
That mental toughness is what Peak said earlier.
What Peak is saying, man.
Where's the intensity?
Yeah.
I remember, and you're right, Wolf. I remember those practices. I remember those games. But those days. Let me tell you something. I relished those moments because I know iron sharpens iron. It made us better.
Yeah, that's for sure. Go ahead.
You know what else? There was an accountability to your teammates. Dale's brother Ronnie. I backed him up my sophomore year. He was a senior. I would go to the games and getting ready to go in, and Ron would come up to me. Remember, Wolf, when I told you this? Yeah. Your brother would come up to me and said, I don't care what the coaches think, how you play. I'm watching you. If you give those guys a break, if you give the outside linebackers or those linebackers a break, you're going to have to answer to me. So I felt like I was more afraid of letting your brother down, letting my team down, that I wasn't giving 100%. And so I'd go out there and I'd ask him, Wolf, how did I play? And honest to God, I would. Are you good with me? I wanted to be accountable to my teammates. And I don't know that it's right down the chain of intensity. And Wolf, I know you're intense, your whole family, but your brother was
something else, man.
Was one like,
and you know,
Freddie Boom and I were talking. Go ahead, Fred.
Man, he's the best in the world. He made Freddie Boom, y'all. That's who made Freddie Boom. Wolfley. I could not play football. They told me Wolfley kicked my butt for 2 years on them kickout drills. And I tell the story a billion times. Nobody catches on to it. And then Coach Nealon and Simmons told me, until I'm able to take Wolf on, I'll play. There was a summer that I prepared for your brother. When we came back for 2 days, I prepared for him. Because there's a kid that Wolfley got me prepared for that was probably, if not the second best blocking fullback in the country. His name was Steve Smith. He blocked for Bo Jackson in Oakland. He was blocking for Penn State, DJ Dozier. He was exactly like Wolf, the same type. And by me going head on with Wolf for weeks and weeks, I was able to shut him down. Because Wolfley took me to a level where I was able to neutralize and handle this kid. And I think Ron Wolfley, to me, man, I told Owen Smith, he was better than I told him, I'd rather take you on to deal with Ron. Ron was tough. Ron made Freddie Boom. I just got to say that, man.
All right.
Get practice.
Yep. Here we go, fellas. I heard all that. We need to move this on. This is Neil Brown talking about being picked last in the Big 12 by the media.
This is why I disagree, and this is why, first of all, it starts with belief in our staff and belief in our players, and then how we finish will be the next thing. We beat Oklahoma State on the road, winning 2 of our last 3 games. Offensively, this is going to be our best group. And then we have 132 starts returning on the offensive line, 132. If that's not most in the country, it's got to be close. And within that group, we've got 4 former freshman All-Americans. We've got 3 for sure all-conference type players. 2 of them are here today with us. Zach Frazier, who's a 2-time All-American, and then Doug Nestor. We have a budding superstar at running back and C.J. Donaldson. And defensively, we're going to be one of the most improved units in the Big 12, if not in the country. And we have all league-type players at each level. And those guys are here today. Sean Martin at defensive end, Lee Koba, who'll be one of the leading tacklers in the conference this year, at Mike linebacker, and then Aubrey Burks at safety. And all three of those guys are here. And we've added talented experience in the secondary through the transfer portal. And so, and then returning on special teams, we've got our kicker and our punter and our long snapper who are both two of the better ones in our league. And so, looking forward to proving everybody wrong on that front. And we won't finish there.
Gene, I got to go right to you on that. And
Wow.
Jerem, I got to tell you, I like what he said. I think he said the right stuff. But it goes back to, okay, again, he got these corners in, but they've never played Mountaineer football. They haven't even played really in the Big 12. I mean, I got to go back to Xavier Worthy for Texas last year. Man, they were looking – those poor kids, they were gone by
Right.
before they even turned their head. And the coaching system, they were not even letting their hands get on them because they were just giving free releases, and you can't do that to these youngins. So, Gene, go ahead, man. Tell me about what Coach Brown said.
I'm listening to Coach Brown, and listen, let me say this. I happen to like Coach Brown, so this is not a critiquement of his character, because sometimes they misconstrue that. I like Coach Man, and I think he's the right person to run any university. When you have a guy with character, you win with character. Okay. The thing that it's not about proving anybody wrong. It's about proving your philosophy right. So therefore, it doesn't matter what they say. I don't care what they say. They said we wasn't going to be good, Wolf. You remember that? And we freaking went 11-0. So we didn't care about that. The thing is, what I'm more concerned with, what I'm really worried about, if you don't coach these kids up, you don't get them right and mentally prepared to be consistent. Success is all about consistency. If he doesn't get them right to understand the media saying this, don't read the press clippings. Even if they said we were going to be number 2 in our conference, you have to go out there and still do it. But that also starts with your coaches. Coach Brown has to be held accountable for what he puts on the field. Now, that means in the recruiting cycle, that means in a transfer portal, that means in handling NIL deals, all of it. All of it. If you're the CEO of the program as a head coach, you have to be responsible for all of it. So that's my worry. Can he do that consistently in this season with one of the toughest schedules we've had in a long time? And for me, the verdict is still out. I like Brown, but the verdict is still out.
Gene, let me ask you this. And boom, I'm going to go to you next. But, Gene, has Neil Brown shown that at all?
No. Okay. No, because you know why? Let me be honest with you. And that's a great question, Wolf. The reason why is look at our record. Just go back and look at his tenure at WVU and you look at our record. The record indicates that he has not shown that. So this year is a bubble year for him. It's either make or break. And I like the guy. It's either make or break. You don't make this kind of money and win 5 and 6 football games. I'm sorry.
No, in fact, they said it. But boom, let me ask you that. Have you seen that from Neil Brown in his time here, that he could just turn that on right now? And hang on one second. Let me show you this real quick. Joey Foster put this up. Said Neil Brown said when he got the call from Mike, that's Montero, his SID, that they were picked last in the Big 12. He got up and left where he was and went to work. It's time to buckle that chin strap a little tighter. Does Neil Brown know how to do that? Boom.
Well, I mean, like I said, I've never critique or insult any man's integrity. I love his character. I love him as an individual. I think he's beautiful. I mean, as a person, and I would say that today, anytime. Never discredit him to anything. But I come from kick behind football, Wolf. I come from kick behind football. You know, we're going to kick behind. I love what Nealon used to tell us. You know, we were never allowed to read the newspapers, the Minion Post. If they caught that in the locker room, he had a personal problem with that. If he caught you with that sports section of the Minion Post, he had a problem about that. So Coach always told me when Rose and I would do the press conference before the game, and we had guys like Doug Flutie coming in and Boomer Esiason, I was told what to say, Wolf. I was told what to say.
Yeah.
And what I was told to say was exactly what we insulted no one. And the questions that were asked, I couldn't answer because why? I didn't read the papers. What? Oh, I didn't see that. What do you mean, Small? Didn't read it. I don't read the papers. We never read the papers. We never read anything. So it was easy for us to buy into his philosophy. As Eugene was talking about, this philosophy that you've been, are they willing to believe and buy in it? You just said something, Wolf, earlier, and you're absolutely right. I don't know, Chris, you can peek on, you can vouch for me. You remember we went down to Penn State, how they just beat up on us down there? And we were good. Chris, we were good. Remember they got us down there in Death Valley. I was down in Death Valley. My son balled down there. I just went to the stadium to get a look at, because I never looked at the stadium, never saw it, what to look for. I wanted to know why they're so noisy. I never knew they had mountains surrounding it. That's why.
Yes.
And all that noise was coming off the mountains was a distraction to us. But they would get us down there, Wolf, and we were still 8-2, 10-2. And like you said, it's hard to beat that team down there, man. And now that they had 91,000 when we were there, now they're up to 110. Yeah. So it's going to take a different philosophy. It ain't going to be all this nice stuff. Believe me, Penn State is old country. Believe me, the first game sets the tone to me for everything in ball. That's just it. So I like Brown. I would never disrespect him as a man to his family. I think they're beautiful. But I'm not buying in to what we've been going through the past couple of years. I'm not buying in it.
No, I hear you there, Boom, and you're right in my opinion. Let's just finish this. Neil Brown, I'll give you a chance to say what you want to say.
Okay.
Going into Happy Valley, going in there, knowing how tough it is to play there, and now they're top 5. They're trying for a national championship this year. Oh, okay. Not only are they good, they're really good. And there's 107,000, and we all know you couldn't hear in there. So you got to be above. You got to be able to think. You got to be able to communicate in different ways. You got to rise above, as Boom just said, the distractions of everything. You have to be better. And when you come in with a freshman and sophomore team, it's that hard. And it's junior. Go ahead, Big. Finish up with Neil Brown. Can he turn it around? Can he get tough? Can he get that chip on his shoulder bigger? I want to know.
Okay, you want me to really answer? We all said Neil Brown is a great guy, nice guy. I've met him. He doesn't remember if he remembers me or knows who I am. He's been great, nice, and he's a very classy guy. But we want to win, and he hasn't won the last 4 years. And I'm trust to climb. It's time to climb. You know, let's win, and that's where we're at right now. I don't think anybody that roots for the Mountaineers is down on the program. It's time to win. If you can't win after 4 years, you can't win after 5 years, it's time to let somebody else try. And that may be really harsh, but you guys were talking and I'm starting to think. I just want to tell you what I feel. And you told me, Wolf, to say how you feel. We want to win.
That's why it's called the WolfMan's Call. Here we go. Brand new AD.
Right?
Real brand new AD, man. Here we go, Red Baker.
To me is he has a very good grasp on everything that is going on in the way that's intersecting in his program, and that gets away from a lot of coaches. We're talking about big organizations, and a lot of them get so focused in on just coaching that they really miss on a lot of those details, and he does a great job with those. And so I just believe, you know, you want the wins to come instantly. We know that this is an industry where you are judged by that scoreboard those 12 Saturdays. Nobody can hide from that. But when I look at the totality of the program, I come in and spend a lot of time over there and visit individually with every member of the staff, has spent a lot of time around the players. To be honest, only came here to be around the players more, you know, because I've been distracted some and wasn't going to come. And then Neil was like, you know, I think you'd enjoy being around the guys. And he's right, and that's why I come. But everything that I see, I think we got a chance this year to really surprise some people. We were surprised at the preseason pick, but as a recovering coach, I never say former coach, I always say recovering coach. I like having a chip on my shoulder. I like being able to walk into a locker room and saying they don't respect you, you know, and let's go out and prove it. It gives you a different edge, and so we're going to use that and go about our business to try and prove everybody wrong, and hopefully Coach Brown is our coach for a long time.
All right, Gene, I'm going to go about what Red Baker just said, and What's your thought process on that? He's saying he likes locker room board material.
Listen, I hear exactly what he's saying. All that sounds cool. My deal with that is, I'll say it again. Anyone that continues to say we're trying to prove somebody wrong, you're already defeated. It's not about proving anybody wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And the reason why I say that again is because that means you put in the preparation to be successful. It's not about proving somebody wrong. Means you're listening to what's happening outside your own organization, outside your own locker room. Be focused on what's happening in your own house. Don't worry about what's happening outside. And I think if we can do that, we'll have a chance. Now, for me, I can care less what the freaking media says. I really, trust me. Because you know why? There's been years when the media has picked West Virginia not to win certain games. And then all of a sudden, West Virginia will win those games. You don't hear the media come back and apologize for what they said. They just keep it moving. So for me, if you have no respect for our program, I have no respect for your ability to tell me whether or not we're going to be good or not. I mean, it's as simple as that. I hope and pray that these young people are coming in with the mindset, we're hungry. It's time to show and tell. You don't give me 4 to 5 years to win X amount of games, and if you don't win those games, I'm good with that. No. What was it, Wolf? Let me see if you know this. I think we all know this. At one time, WVU was the 13th or 14th winningest football program in all of college football.
We're 14 now.
Okay. So you mean to tell me it's okay, we're going to be fine with continually to win 5 games a year over the next 5 years?
No, not me.
Not me either.
I think not. So if you look at the trajectory where we're going, if you look at that, if we win 5 games this year, you're talking about out of coach's tenure, we didn't win 45 to 50 round games. Who gets retained? What CEO of what company gets retained with that type of rate? Nobody that I've known that's been successful. And again, this is not a charge against this man. Like Boom said, we all said it. He's a great human being. I love the guy. But this is about football. Football comes down to one simple thing: wins and losses. It's time for us to win.
Hey, Boom, let me ask you this. And Chris, I see your hand, so I'll give you that chance. What do you think of people laughing?
Well,
what do you think?
It's like I said, I mean, I'm just, I hear all this rhetoric and all this talk. I'm a person, look, I protected all the top stars all my life. I've always had my life on the line. I ain't got time for talk, okay? My freshman year, we had a schedule. We were supposed to go down to play Oklahoma, which I think is what started all this for you guys. Eugene, Chris, we were projected to lose by 42 points. But because we kept it in-house, as Eugene and I going back what I'm saying, we keep it in-house. It's all about us. Heck with anything outside of it. Heck with somebody else is talking about what's going on in the locker room. It's about on that team of Oklahoma, they had 9 All-Americans and 5 top #1 draft picks. Jackie Shipp, Thomas Benson, Stanley Wilson, Marcus Dupree. So we went down there knowing we're going to get smacked up by 42 points, and we pulled this game out. And now we come back and we beat almost everybody. We go 10-2. We have a quarterback that nobody knew nothing about, a little bit named Jeff Hostetler, and he wrecks everybody. Players started stepping out of their domains. Certain players started getting recognition, their names being called. And this is what happened with these kids. I love you, but I tell my kids, never want to be average. TV is what matters. I'm going to get off. Nealon said it, Chris, you know it. He said Freddie Smalls knows the television cameras. Because every time he's on TV, he tears things up. You got to know when you're on that stage, Eugene. Look, you and I, we walk with people who perform, Eugene. We walk with people who got to sell platinum records and make money and keep up that leverage. When the opportunity comes, if I'm playing Texas and it's on ESPN, I'm getting off. So what I'm saying is to go back to cover everything that we've been saying is we shouldn't even worry about what anybody's saying. It should be about his philosophy. They have to buy into it. They have to go kick butt by it and leave it just like that. That's what it has to be about, man.
Chris, go ahead.
You know, you guys all remember Coach Nealon would have his prep, game prep, and he would say, like, hey, Fred Smalls, so-and-so called me from Virginia Tech, and he's going to kick your ass. Remember that?
Yeah. He would do that.
Eugene, you're not going to gain a yard because so-and-so called me on Monday and said you might as well not play. So the way I look at it, don't let them inside your head. Don't get them all that stuff. Guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant had to manufacture that to get that. But I really think that is important to overthink and prepare and be that. And it's called, remember Coach Nealon said, he better have your attention on Saturday. And you better be ready. And it's a little bit different.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question? You made a statement about something. I'm not. Remember the statement you made about when we all got in trouble? And what did he say when we all got in trouble?
I was never in trouble. I'm joking.
No. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You got to remember what you said. We got in some trouble on some just little playing around, but everybody got in trouble because we all did it as a what? Team. Remember
he said, you guys were wrong. It was a little bit of fraternity problem with a couple of our guys, and then, you know, our older guys went up and took care of it. He said, you guys, the one thing that I loved about this is you stuck together as a team and you stuck up for each other. And even though we were wrong, we were still as a unit. That happened really before we got there, but we heard the stories. We're playing Oklahoma. They just beat Florida in the Peach Bowl. And I was just thinking, what did I get into? This is intense stuff. And Coach Nealon was very supportive of what happened at, I don't know, Wolf, do you know the story?
Yeah, I know the story, and I think you better just cut it right there, right now.
I know.
That didn't end up in the book. His book. That story was not in his book.
That's in the book, yeah.
The idea was, even though we were wrong, we still were a team.
No, we are.
That's what the thing was. So, again, I'm going to go back to this, okay, is when you're a team, you're a unit. And if I have 11 on special teams, and I have 11 on offense, and I have 11 on defense, and I have 2 or 3 that, you know, Zach Frazier, that's a Mountaineer now. That's a Mountaineer, right?
Yeah, that's a Mountaineer. Zach Frazier, yeah.
That guy. Okay, so, again, he'll teach people around him how to be a Mountaineer. But you have to have teachers. And this is what we were talking about before. And that's what I think they lack right now are teachers. And if the coaches aren't going to do it, and I'm going to tell you this right off the bat, that defense was not good last year. And now one of those coaches was released. Now, I'm not pointing at any coach. But what I'm saying is I think a coach should have been let go just to say to the team, that's not acceptable. That's not how we play defense. Boom, I'm going to give you that word on that. You tell me what you think.
It just goes back to this society we live in. We pack the rattlesnake, man. You know what? I'm never going to pick a rattlesnake up and take care of it, no matter how it is, because sooner or later, if I take care of it, it's going to bite me anyway. We always want to pet something. And if you don't discipline anything, everything falls to discipline. If there's no discipline behind it, it's not going to fulfill. And when you don't set examples, y'all want to talk unit. You know, we're trained in the military. If there's 50 of us and one is lost, we go back to get him. We go back and get him. We're going to try to go get him. And that's how we buy into our philosophy of our commander, knowing that our lives can be at stake to do this. We all are free from the violence, but our boy, we don't leave one of our soldiers behind. This is what I'm just trying to build unity here, man. Is when you come together as a unit, you always keep things out. When you bodyguard celebrities, keep everything out of the dressing room, out of the locker room, out of the green room. There's certain things you just got to keep out in order to fulfill what you're trying to do. Eugene, as you said, how to get these kids on how to buy in what I'm saying.
Yep.
And like we said, Nealon was good at that. I know he came from a great coach, Bo Stuckenberger from Michigan, who had a great program, and he carried that philosophy from Michigan. And hey, he was successful, like Chris said, to tell me that this kid, this tight end, called that he got a call from them and deliver a message that he's gonna kick my you know what.
Yeah.
That's what he told me. He got a call from the guy, though he's lying, but I took it personal.
You took it personally.
His name was Emmett Flowers. Yeah. His name was Emmett Flowers from Miami, and I really kicked his behind because of that.
Yeah, so
he told it. Yeah. He got a call from the kid, and the kid said, "Give this message to Freddie Small."
Yeah, no, that's true. All right, so Jay, let's talk about that because we just said when I was talking about a coach, and he's talking about the Randall saying discipline is a word. Have you seen discipline in 4 years on this team?
Not the
way they tackle.
No.
Not the tackling. Tackling proves. Now I can't. All you guys are offensive guys, right? You're offense. Let me go with defense, and then I'll leave the offensive guys coming. When there's a lack of tackling, Eugene, Chris, that's no discipline. That's the sign of it. When we can't tackle, we can't get stops. We making big mistakes at crucial moments on defense. That's what it's saying to you guys. We lack the discipline.
When I saw some of the games and I was really frustrated, our years at WVU, what made me transfer there was the intense camaraderie that the defense, even though I'm a running back, I enjoy a hard-hitting defense. And being a Mountaineer during our era and before our era, you knew when you played West Virginia, you was going to get tattooed. You was going to get handled physically. You knew that. I didn't care who we played. You already knew that. When I watched over the last few years, I'm seeing, like what Fred just said, you can't have MAs in the third quarter in a big game, and it's consistent. Every time we play a big opponent, we have misassignments in crucial parts of the game. Defensively, that's a breakdown that has to be corrected. So when that's not corrected, what's the definition of insanity? When you do something over and over again and you expect
over and over again.
Yep.
So for me, I'm like, no, I can't continue to see this happen week in and week out. We're better than that. And guess what? If we're not better than that, then you got to go get people that will make us better than that on that side of the ball. And again, it's hard.
And that was the philosophy. And that was the philosophy against Penn State. He said, though Penn State might beat us, but they won't be able to play next week because we're going to hurt them.
That's what we used to do.
Come on, I'm just saying, not in a bad. They're going to be so sore. They got the W, but they can't play next week because they know they just got their butts kicked.
Hey, Wolf, I'm sorry. Hey, Fred, my big brother. I'm sorry, Wolf. I just got to ask this one question, okay? So I remember before I got to West Virginia, DJ Dozier, correct?
Yeah. 87.
I remember him being, smashed up. I mean, thoroughly handled. He ran over everybody else. But when he played against that Mountaineer defense, man, that was something to behold. So when I think back on that tradition and people tell me how soft, I heard this term about 7 times last year, how soft we look on defense. I've never heard that before. Never.
I agree. Wolf wants to know the truth. Like I said, I love the kids. Don't get me wrong. I pray for these kids. God, it's not. I don't blame these kids. I don't. I want to be clear what I'm saying. I always bring something from the root foundation, and I know some of these kids are good players. I had my favorite, the Steele brothers. There's some kids. I love the green kid at quarterback. There's some kids I like on this team, and I like personally the Ford kid. But all I'm saying is that for them kids to enjoy what you had, Wolf, what Chris has gotten, what Eugene got, these kids are not going to have that enjoyment of their college years of what we had. And that's what I'm speaking on.
Yeah. No, there's doubt. So, Pink, just so you know, Gene, Peccon is the only one who can't ask a question on my show. Okay? He's the only one that's not allowed to. All right. So, Pink, go ahead, man. Sum it up. We got to start wrapping this up here. We're coming to the top of the hour. And your experience here, what you want to say, because you've put in your time as a Mountaineer, your Mountaineer legacy, and how you feel and what you want to see with these guys.
What I'd like to say is, when we were just at a golf outing, and you and I spent a lot of time together, we never really talk football. We talk family. We tell old stories about what happened, but we never really talk what happened on the field as much as the funny stories. And we just crack on each other, and the camaraderie and the family. It's just the family vibes, or whatever you want to say, that come with those meeting your ex-teammates. It's just it takes you back, and we all act maybe a little more immature than we ever do around anybody else, because nobody's judging us. But it's so, Fred, we rode in a golf cart, 18 holes. We didn't golf, and Wolf, you and I went and hung out, and it's just I can't tell you how much how much I value that. It's priceless. But that's what Mountaineer football gave us, and I don't know if it's ever going to be the same with the transfers. Nobody bonds. Everybody wants to play, which is great, but I don't think anybody stays long enough, or anybody's going to stay long enough to develop the friendships that we have. I mean, what do you guys think?
I'll give it to Gene. Go ahead, Gene.
That's 100% the case, man. I love you guys. I respect and love all of our Mountaineers, current and former, because we put this uniform, did what we had to do. I call Boom effectively, that's my big bro. I love him. From day one when I met him, you already know, Wolf, we played together. I love you like a brother. The same thing with Chris. It doesn't matter what era you come from. The mere fact that we've played and we wore this great uniform, that means something. So I want to see, hopefully, and I pray, like Fred said, I pray that these younger kids now will get the opportunity to get that. I hope that they do. I'm 57 years old. Bleed blue and gold, man. I love my Mountaineers. Current
You
and
look
former.
good. You look good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The check's in the mail. So, yeah. Wolf, I hope and pray that these young people will get the chance to have what we have all these years later when they're done.
Couldn't agree more. Boom, finish it, brother.
We talking unity, and we talking that brotherhood, and that's the manifestation of what it produces for us. I met Eugene when he was transferring. You and A.B. Brown.
Yep.
I met y'all before y'all came to West Virginia. And when y'all was on your transition to go to West, when I was at Pitt. Now that's how far we go back. What I'm saying is, sometimes on these shows I get intense, but there's messages to me that resurrect a lot of people, because there's a lot of energy here. What I saw this weekend was, I hadn't seen Joe's in how many years. I've seen you and Chris. I've seen a lot of guys, both, and we jumped right into it. We went right to each other, hugs, kisses, joking, pounding, family. This is what I'm saying is, as a coach, this is what makes Nealon so great, that he was able to manifest and produce that and bring that to family. A lot of these other kids are not going to have that. We could talk about on the field and all that and this and that, but what about this unity that you could come back 10 years later and you and that brother can take off from where y'all was 10 years ago? I mean, whatever it is, binding, looking, kissing on each other. How many times we kiss you, Wolf, but we all kissed you 100 times.
Yep.
That's that love for you, man. That's that family reunion that we all, and that's
Fred, we didn't kiss him on the lips though. It's on the cheek.
No, we didn't. We ain't kissing him on the cheeks.
But
all the love that he got. So I'll finish what I'm saying is, I'm gonna bleed blue and gold till I die. Don't matter win or lose. I'm always going to have my jersey or my shirts on or hats on. I'm always going to rep West Virginia no matter what. Serious. No matter what. But all I want to say is, I would love to see these kids have what we had this weekend. And I go back 10 years later because I did my GA 10 years. So I'm bond with that group of the Mark Bolgers. I'm bond with Eugene. I'm bond with 20 years down. And somebody asked that question, how do they all know you? Because I got a bond with all of them. From 20 seasons down, I have a bond with these kids. So this is what I will pray. And Brown has that. But as Eugene says, this whole game is all about what? Winning. We gotta win. Gotta win.
All
Gotta
right.
win.
Gentlemen, I thank you so much for your participation. You know, as the old alumni guy, which I did for 12 years, is up to last year, as I understand all of that, and I see that with all of you, and that transference doesn't matter the years. You all wore the WV, and you all know what hard nose. My whole theme has been hard nose. Can West Virginia survive and be blue collar and win if they're not blue collar? Can they do it? And my answer is no, they can't. And that bond you're talking about, the bond of brothers, everybody's been asking me. I've been talking about this for weeks now. And you guys just amplified it today. And just going back to the Joe's React tournament, everybody's seeing each other again. And yeah, you know what? We are all a little bit of freaks in our own way. We are. And we are all a little bit weirder than the people of okay, there's no doubt about it. At the same time, there's not a better group of people you'd want in your foxhole. I'm going to you, Boom, with that, the Mountaineer term or the Army term, foxhole. There's nothing better than our Mountaineer brothers. And I think that's what we want for this team. And that's what we're saying. Coach Brown, we want to bond with you. We want to feel that bond, but we got to have discipline. We got to have toughness. We got to have blue collar. We got to be tough. And we got to deliver toughness. And we got to be able to punch when there's 13 defenders on the field in practice, and coach tells you this is where the ball's coming. You try to stop them, and we got to push it in. You got to find ways. The defense, the same thing against 13 guys on offense. You got to stop them. It's 4th and 1. You got to stop them. And that's
love it, Wolf. I love it.
Love it. I love it too.
I love it, Wolf.
But it was that whole identity.
I love it.
We didn't win every game. We know that. But we were out there doing the best we could with all we had, and we were giving it our all and understanding that this is not only us, but it's also for Mountaineer Nation. It's also for WVU, and it's also for the state. All right. And that's what we have to say. And guys, going to have you back, all back. Gene, you got your own show. When's that coming back, Gene?
I'll be back up probably in about 3 weeks in August. So a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm looking forward to it. And can't wait to have each and every one of you on Relatively Sports with Eugene Napoleon.
All right, very good. Freddie, boom, man, linebacker, 4-0, I should say, excuse me, against Doug Flutie in Boston College, and 1984 Penn State winner. Big time, man, linebacker, tough, boom. What do you got to say, man?
Just continue to pray for me that I continue to be strong enough to continue to build the words and help y'all through the airwaves and continue to preach the truth and just motivate my brothers and sisters with the best apple of the eye that I can give them. Just keep me in prayer because I need it. I'm vulnerable to life. I need it just like you need it. And deposit back into me. Don't allow me just be the one to invest into you, but bring the deposit back to me. I love y'all. Every one of y'all here, man, I just love all y'all, man. I mean, I brag on every one of y'all. I brag on you. And you know I'm going to be the one to exalt you and lift you up. I'm never going to put you down. I'm going to be there for you. Wolf, man, love you. Chris, love you. Gene, love you, man.
Right back
love
at you.
Looks like you got last word, Pink. Go ahead, brother.
Well, you know what? I definitely love all you guys, and I love all my teammates. Wolf, you do a super job on the show. I've seen your show.
First time you're on it.
No, I know. I've seen it. I've seen your show, but now I'm on it. But, Boom and I was on the golf cart together. You and I rode a little bit. Gene, you need to come back, man. It's like I said, we were talking family. We weren't really talking football. It's right. The love we have as teammates and what we went through in the dorm rooms, on the road, in practice. Hell, remember when they filmed our practices? If you did something wrong on a Tuesday practice, I was all uncomfortable until we saw the film. I mean, you knew you were going to get called out. And it's just
right.
That type in Towers, we'd go out. We'd have a little bit of good time when we were allowed to go out. And I think some of us went out when we weren't allowed to go out, including me.
I think that's about you, brother.
But anyways, I love you guys.
All right. Love you too, man. Anything for the good of the cause, gentlemen. We're also going to say goodbye to you. All right. Have a good night. And Eugene Napoleon is going to show. You got Boom. He's got his show. Peccon, you are always a show, no matter where you go. All right.
If you need me, man.
Yeah. I like that.
More jokes.
All right, fellas. Thank you. Have a good
Love
day.
you guys,
Y'all
man.
be blessed.
God bless you.
Eugene, give me a call sometime.
I got you.
All right,
Give me a
Gene.
call sometime.
Call me,
Eugene.
Gene. Tell me what-
Goodbye. Yes, and goodbye, Boom. You're the last one to go, brother.
Nope.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, what a show that was. I mean, if you can't get a little bit jacked up in blood, and remember that they're not talking about down on to our young blood, down to the brothers. We're not talking down. We're telling them what we want for them, what we hope for them, and what we expect from them. And whether you have to do it with the coaches and you have to self-govern yourself, and it's all those put together. And if you think it can't happen in today's day and age of transfer portal, you're wrong. It can happen, but it's all about the relationships. Hey, we want to thank the WolfMan's Call Network. We hope you're out there. You watched it. We're going to start Bridgeport again with Brickside Bar and Grill. Rob Davis, eat local. We move on up there to the Mason Jar BBQ and More. Unbutton Your Britches with Steve Reese. He's also got the Mason Jar Saloon and Hotspot in Morgantown. And we got Mel up there, Mountaineer Tap House. Love you, Mel. And of course, love Gizzy there with the Legends Golf and Bar and Golf. And that's out of Lakeview. And then we head up to Weirton, West Virginia. And we talk about Route 22, the great food up there, and the tap system they have a bottoms up. And then we're not going to forget Teays Valley there with the Pallet Bar. Wow, what a day it was. What a WolfMan's Call. Tomorrow, we have somebody special. His name is Sean Lutz. And Lutz, he's a former Mountaineer, of course, but he's also the head coach at Slippery Rock University. He is very successful there, and he's changed that whole football program. We're going to talk to him. How did you, Sean Lutz, change that program into a big success? All of that tomorrow on the WolfMan's Call.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock.
How many? The anywhere, anytime chargers, powering a connected world. Never buy AA batteries again. Rechargeable 500 times plus. Paul Mini AA USB lithium battery, as easy to charge as your cell phone. Sustainable energy. Stay charged. Go green, save green. Feel the power of Paul. Order now at paulmini.com.